everybody's going to ask for a discount. Whether they need the discount or they not, they don't.
Girl called me around 1 a.m. just to book a viewing. Oh, I just want to hear your voice.
I mean, it was a deal. I thought that deal was going to work. And I needed that deal so I could bury my mom.
Oh.
And I needed that thing to close. And I tried.
So I think this time around, I want to focus on you three. Since all y'all are in the game, I want your experiences as well.
Okay.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay.
I know. All right. So obviously, when you're dealing with people, they don't know what they want. Yes? But then they expect the world from you. Have you ever had a client with the most confusing requests that you just was like, nah, this is not it? Have you guys ever had to deal with that?
Benaya?
Actually, before we go on, let me start. So this is the home front. Forgot to do this. This is the home front.
Introduction.
We're with Nana. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hannah.
And Mr. Rollins.
Yes.
All right. So let's get into it. I'll start with you.
Not knowing exactly what they need. I think one very, very funny experience was a man who walked in with, I think it was my second year in business, walked in and he wore t-shirt and jeans with sandals, took an Uber to my office in Aboni, and he said he had $10 million disposable cash to invest in real estate. Now, if an investor walks up to you with $10 million and says, I want to invest this money in real estate, like, you know what that means, right? This is $10 million. Like, you start counting.
You get
like,
ugly jiggly.
God, $10 million. I thought that was my breakthrough. Second year in real estate, encountering an investor with $10 million. And you are solely going to be involved with this. The only agent, no other person, just me. So at the time, background checks, who this person is, questions, what do you want to do with this?
Do you guys do that?
Yeah, in some ways
you do.
Yes.
You have to.
So if I walk to you and I said, I want to buy a house, are you checking me out?
I'm not going to tell you we're checking you out. But
no, I'm
yes,
saying
I
that.
do.
So when you get clients coming in and they say that, okay, I want to buy this property worth $50,000.
Yes.
Example of CDs. Are you, as part of your due diligence, are you trying to find out if I can afford it? Like, is that what you're doing?
No. So we check everybody. For me, I check every one of my clients.
Explain how do you check?
So for some people, it involves, sometimes check them out on LinkedIn. Who are they? Where do they work? Where do they live? What do they do? And for some people, you can't really find any information who they are.
Why do you do that?
I mean, just get to know who they are. So for me, it's a relationship thing. It's a relationship business, right? Our job involves relating with another person, helping them acquire something, and whether we like it or not, these guys can be considered as family. Okay, and that's one purpose of doing that. Another reason why we do that is just to know who they are, so that in case anything goes AWOL, you know where to track, where to chase, where to go to. For example, I remember some time ago, some people in Bermuda some people, prisoners were deported or sent to Africa. Most of them came down to Ghana and went to Cape Coast to buy lands.
That's so interesting.
Like lands, like in chunk of lands, right? And people just kept selling, lands. And who are these guys? Where did they come from?
Do you check as well?
I don't. I ask a lot of questions, and I'm quite friendly. I do get into people's business if they allow me to. The only times when I've really kind of Google searched and things like that is when somebody is asking or wanting to buy like big money.
Big, exactly.
Because then there's
So the 10
then it's kind of
million
it's sensitive. I can't be like, oh, what do you sometimes I will ask, what do you do?
Yeah, what you do for a living?
But some people
But
will
not
also just
outrightly.
be like, yeah, I'm a businessman.
Yes.
Okay.
So
yes.
if that's all they're willing to give, you don't push.
Yes, true.
But I know that if you are lots of cases,
Yeah.
if you are a
Yeah.
businessman, if you give me your name, I can probably find out a bit more about you and what you do and kind of, how you're able to do this kind of purchase.
Okay.
Just because it's sensitive. So that's probably the only circumstance.
Time that you check.
that
Nana,
I would
do you
like
check?
a Google search.
I wouldn't say check necessarily, but I try to relate to them as they come. Someone walking with slippers, like you're saying, you can't tell who this person is.
Yes.
So they give you a name, they tell you, I live here. At least they'll give you some background information of who this person
Who they
is.
are.
So you get to relate to them through that information.
Right.
But sometimes they can be messed up people. They're completely messed up people. Like these are completely dead broke individuals with no money.
Wasting your time.
Just wasting your time.
Time
Just coming to
wasters.
earn some status, And that's one of the reasons why open houses don't really work.
But you know what's funny about that, sorry to cut you off, George, is that I've also found that some of my, let's just say, more well-off or richest clients are the ones that come in the slippers, and the ones that don't have the money.
Yes.
They've come to me with suit and
Yes,
tie
absolutely.
and briefcase.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And
Me too.
there's nothing
Me
really going
too.
on
I don't
there.
really dispute it. I know when these guys come in, I think I've learned my hard lesson with, one time I almost ruled out a client. I'm not going to mention his name, but
Please don't.
He's really like one of the top rich folks in Ghana. And it was after we finished. So I came with another, one of my assistants, and she was like, oh my God.
They knew who he was.
No, I was like, so he was just asking, behaving so calmly, just dressing, having normal conversations. So when we finished, and he was like, oh my God, did you know who you just met? And I said, who? So who? Nanado. So she just typed it in Google and showed me, like,
She can't pay the day.
Right? Literally.
Exactly.
man. So for me, that's one of the reasons why I say relationship is important. It's not just about doing the business. For me, 75% of my clients right now are referrals. My business.
Okay.
We hardly run ads, and it's because I'm being intentional of not just closing one business or deal with this person. Some of these people, about 50% of the people who have referred me to other people, I didn't do business. There was no deal closed with them. It was maybe an encounter or so. So a relationship is key. But just coming back to your question quickly, this $10 million man, how he dressed, walked in, asked all the information he wanted. I gave him everything. I went beyond just finding him different answers to what he asked. And at the end of the day, this man was just yobbing.
Oh.
Like it was yobbing. He just wanted to have that I think, I don't know why people do it, but just having that, I'm going to real estate, I want to invest in real estate.
Can I confess to
statues.
something?
You've
Don't
done
tell
it
me
before.
this is what you do.
In my other life, in my previous life,
God.
on a good weekend, Saturday or Sunday,
Wow.
I had a friend, and we'll pose like a married couple, dress up, and really go to open houses, really sell the story. We're about to get married. So I used to do that a lot.
Oh,
we used to do
goodness.
that. We used to do that.
Yeah, that was
And
really...
It's
even-
actually terrible.
And even
George.
And you
we
make
used to
us
go
feel
to,
bad.
No, we used to go to furniture stores at that, and then try and match furniture for the house that we just went.
That's cute.
No, we used to do that.
That's cute.
So Hannah, what about you? What is the most confusing request that you've
Confusing
gotten?
is not really. I don't think I've ever really been so confused by a request, but I have recently had this client, and he was purchasing a property that had all of this smart stuff, or that's where the value of the property actually came from. It was all in the appliances and the ACs and all this technical stuff. And he purchased the property, but he wanted all of that stuff removed.
taken out.
Yeah. So I was like, are you sure? Like, even down to the ACs, he wanted fans instead of ACs. I don't know if it's trying to save on ECG. I don't know what it is, but it was just weird.
No, he was willing to pay.
Yeah, like he still bought the house.
Wow. I mean, I've encountered that before. Yeah.
So yeah, that's odd.
What about you, Nana?
Well, I've got a few encounters with clients. I remember one time these married couples walked to me and they were like, they needed a property at Wager, somewhere around Wager. So I got them the property. They went to view. And then the wife was like, we don't like Wager again because of the bridge. When the water is opened, it's this, is that. So they want before the bridge. So I got them McCarthy Hills on top of the hills. They were like, oh, okay, this place is cool. After a day or two, they came back. They were like, we hear it's an earthquake-prone area and all that. So let's go further beyond to Malam and all that. It took me about a month. And then later on, they were like, you know what, we'll go and sit and then think about it. We'll come back again. They never came.
People doing business with people, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you guys do. You're in that business, dealing with people.
Yeah.
Do you often get, for example, women coming to you and then really not looking to buy the house, but trying to get with you? And do you get that yourself as well? Men are trying to...
All the time.
Let me buy it for you.
Do you know what? It's actually like a sad truth, but it works.
What works?
Well, so someone will come with that intention, or they let's just say they like what they see, but they're still a real buyer who is going to purchase.
So, but how then do you diffuse the situation, if you will?
Oh, I mean, as men and women, we know how to just create the boundaries and let it be known in a professional way, but still entice them into the sale.
How do you deal with it? How do you men deal with it? Because you have this fine woman, I want to come and have a house, and then she's shaking her body for you. Yeah. How then do you say, okay, you know what, I'm just selling the house and I'm not selling me? How do you balance that?
Okay, it's all about relationship, how you relate with people. I've had...
I don't get a sense that he enjoys that.
Because honestly, it sounds like,
it comes with it.
Not really. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. It gets really uncomfortable. Like people
so
calling you at night.
You've had that happen?
Oh, a lot.
Okay.
Just recently, a girl called me around 1 a.m.
Wow.
Just to book a viewing. Oh, I just want to hear your voice.
Hey.
Come on. And that was absurd. Yeah, so... And then that was the first day she saw me. We went for viewing. Oh, I don't like this. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this. Can we do that tomorrow? I'm like, okay. So she called at 1 a.m. You should be happy, no? Yeah,
well, no,
I
was, really just
but
looking for...
I could tell it was a different motive altogether.
Do you get that as well?
If you don't, it's okay. If you
don't. I do get it, but like I said, it's you just have to be professional and do that as quick as early as possible.
Yeah. Like how? How do you? What is the craziest you've gotten? And how did you diffuse it?
Well, I think it was the time I got into a call with someone, from the US, looking to, I think via LinkedIn. I know LinkedIn is a very professional place.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's not what I hear anymore.
No, it's changing, but then it just used to, for me, I came to LinkedIn just to be professional. Like, you don't hear me talk. For me, I like to preach. I like to talk about Christ, like preach and post things about. Them? Yeah, no, I mean, I like to post things about loving Jesus Christ, being a servant of God and all that. Then. Not really religious, but then for LinkedIn, it's just strictly business, like professional and stuff. And then this lady reached out to me, and I talk about real estate a lot. And then she reached out to me and she was like, hey, I saw this article you posted. Nice article. Do you have a time maybe we can have a call? I think I would like to introduce you to this party and they might be interested in this. So we started with Google Meet. She set up a Google Meet and we had the video call. I thought it was leading to somewhere. Then we exchanged WhatsApp phone numbers. And then from that, it began to be, all right, thanks, darling. Thanks, darling.
But the question is, how do you set boundaries? Like, how do you...
I'm driving there. So,
Right.
like, how sweetie and all that. So then, for me, I don't think someone you want to build a professional relationship with, or you want to do something with in regards to business, you use those words like darling, honey, sweetie. So those things are like, for me, it's, I like to, like, so, for me, I was like, if it's something that is being consistent, for example, if you work with those Scots or those from the UK, you hear the word love a lot. Does not mean you're that love. Like, hello, love, how are you? Like, it's different.
That's LUV, love.
Yes, but for now, for this particular one, it's like, honey, sweetie, and like they call you, right? The next thing they start calling you for unnecessary questions, like, hey, how's it going? How's work? I just want to check on you, you know?
Yeah, to the point where they ask if you're married.
Yeah, especially with that question, like, are you single and stuff?
No, but okay,
Like, what's
so
that got to do with anything?
Yeah,
but they need to know who they're dealing with. Like, just you checking them out, they're checking you
No,
out.
this has no bearing
No,
on... If you are married, it has a bearing on yourself.
Of course,
because
yeah.
Are you buying with somebody else? Does that person have to be on the contract? Whether I am married or not has absolutely nothing.
So then the
to
question
do.
is, how do you set boundaries? How do realtors set boundaries with their
So
clients?
I think for me, I think is from the very it's to be upfront. Tell them, okay, hey, I don't know, but I think I find it uncomfortable when you refer me with this certain types of words, like, you know, and maybe when they call you in all times, you tell them, could you call me in working hours?
No, but they have a $10 deal for you.
No, I don't really care. So, and that's one way. But another way I've begun to do it is to go through a process. So you speak to my assistant, and then
I do that
my assistant goes through the whole thing. And okay, right. So I have the first interaction, but I'll tell you, okay, after now, my assistant will be following up to have further conversations with you, of which when that goes through, that we will be able to find out. So that period would identify if you're really serious. If you're serious, of course.
Do you know what? I have an uncle that owns properties, lots of properties. And I know now at his age, he's looking to do a lot of collaborations and do joint ventures. And I happened to link him with a developer. And the developer is very busy, doesn't have time to deal with him one-on-one. So he says, so you know what? I'll have my commercial manager deal with you. My uncle just straight up says, no, it's you I'm dealing with and nobody.
Yes.
And I'll be there and I'll get a call. I'm calling the developer, he's not answering. I'm like, okay, but what time are you calling?
Yeah.
He could say, oh, I'm calling after 8. I'm like, come on. But for him, to the point where I even made a joke like, why? It's not your girlfriend that you be calling. But for him, he feels that because they're doing business, he has to have access.
And that definitely does exist.
It does.
He's
For me
not
too.
the only person, especially in somewhere in Ghana, for example. In the UK, nobody's answering their phone at 8 a.m. in the morning. We haven't got to the office yet.
Yes.
Nobody's even making that call because you know that person has not got into work mode yet. After 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, nobody's making any type of calls because nobody's going to answer the phone.
Right.
However, here, there's that whole culture of, I'm spending this money, have to cater to me.
Right.
Now, as a lady, obviously, dealing with men, sometimes very prominent men, they have that mentality and you kind of need to just create a boundary without making it kind of stand off.
How do you do that? How do you set boundaries?
For example, oh, I've got a check for you, meet me at lunch. Oh, I can't do lunch, but you can drop by my office. Or I can have it picked up, or I can have somebody come and a delivery person, or so I still create the opportunity. So now it's really down to you. Right. And if you really don't want to deliver the check because I won't come for it personally to your house or to lunch, then you're not really serious.
But culturally, on some level, it can be seen as disrespectful.
Oh no! So definitely, we can invite you to the office. Come and have a coffee with us. Come and have a coffee with me in my office space, in my space. So it's, I'm hosting you. I'm ready to, whatever you need, I'm ready to do that. It's just that it can't be under certain terms on occasion.
But I think for you being a woman, it's a little bit different. But for men, on some level, somebody will say, oh, it's flattering that you're being doted on and right? So how then do you set the boundary that, okay, you know what? it's business, and I'm not going to cross the line?
Okay, usually I try to get you what you want. I'll be...
What they want.
What they want is you.
Yeah. No, not necessarily giving myself out to them and all that. No,
Okay.
I don't do that. But then, asking
joking.
whatever they want from me, not me per se, but
Right.
if they want an apartment, I try so hard to get it for them. And after payment, I'm done. I actually block some of them.
Oh, wow.
Just to be free. Yeah, I have to. Because people are asking you out.
There's a fine line in trying to get them to give you the money to buy the property.
Yeah.
So up until they've bought the property, how then do you basically toe the line? Okay, you know what? No, you can't cross this boundary with me, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you entertain your clients.
Yeah.
Right? I'm sure you entertain your clients.
Yeah.
Because obviously if I'm looking to spend so much money, oh, you know what? Let's go out for a drink. Let's do this, let's do that. How then do you keep it kosher?
I think it's all about attitude.
Yeah, I
It's
think
a-
the person can tell. There's an
Yes,
attitude that you have
It's purely
when they're taking the conversation somewhere else.
Yeah.
You bring
You
it right
direct.
back.
yeah,
to,
like they're talking to you and they're giving
they
that
themselves,
smile, and
yeah.
you're like
They'll
they'll
still
be able
straight
to
faced.
analyze
All the way
that.
of hitting
Yeah, it's
you
not
when they're
working.
talking.
Exactly.
Nah, nobody touches me.
Oh no, but there's a
Nobody
people that
touches
Then I'll let you know I'm
Nah,
uncomfortable.
right.
You hitting
Yeah.
me.
You'll
I'm
see.
uncomfortable.
You'll be able
You don't
to
have
tell.
to touch me.
Yeah, I mean,
You'll
like,
be able to tell.
the touching is like extreme, you know?
Yeah.
Touch,
People
bro.
do.
Nah, I mean, touch is. Nah, that did
Okay,
something
here's
wrong.
the thing though. So there are clients that cannot be pleased, right?
Yeah.
There's some
Correct.
people that can't be pleased,
Correct.
no
yeah.
matter what it is that you're doing. When do you get to say that, okay, this person can be pleased, and so therefore it's a no? Like, I don't see. How do you know, or at what point do you say, okay, you know what, this person's not gonna buy?
Okay, so from the beginning, they lay down what they want. So you know from the list of things they've listed, you can tell, okay, I want a big house, I want a garden, I want that. But moving forward, you get to a point where I don't even want a garden anymore, I want a swimming pool. So you can just tell from the beginning to the point where you've got into that this person is not serious. They're just wasting your time. Because if a serious person wants to buy something, they go for what they want. They don't get to a point where I've changed my preference. You are buying.
But you're allowed to change your mind though.
Yeah, you can, but you know what you want. You come with your wife or you come with a family member or something, and then you say, this is what we want. You go and then come back, you say, I don't want this anymore. I want this. At a
He's
point,
talking about when it drastically changes.
Okay.
So we're not talking about, I prefer a bigger garden.
Exactly.
That's different.
Yeah.
We're talking about
from a garden to a pool.
Exactly.
That's different.
This is and like he's saying, once you have provided what they have asked for, that's as far as we can really go. I can't.
But isn't it your job to sell me on I can't find a garden? Isn't it the realtor's job to sell me on something that maybe my untrained eye would want?
Absolutely. Even to bring your attention to things that you wouldn't have even thought of.
Yeah.
But when I have done that and you are still not happy, there has to be a point that you draw a line under it and just say, do you know what? This isn't something that I can do. Sometimes I'll even recommend.
Really?
John down the street.
I do exactly the same
does
thing.
That. Go over
Here's his number.
I don't have the time to waste in the first place.
Yes. Yeah, here's his number.
So I will give, John, he's great.
So it's a known thing that you get to a point you're like, you know what, this person
for me, I do exactly the same thing. I just go, I can't provide you with this anymore, but here is a guy. He's pretty good.
So
he has all of those things. Here's his number and here's his name. And this is the thing is sometimes you can, even if they're still serious, it allows you to collaborate with another agent and still close the deal.
You can still get paid.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's one way or another.
So you still get paid regardless whether you come out
In
split.
some circumstances, if I am bringing, as an agent, if you are bringing business to another, that person can get a commission and split it with you because ultimately you still bought the lead.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, still business win. You still win. There's a win-win there.
It's just that it wasn't your time that was wasted.
Do you know what? When I'm dealing with not my friends, but on a personal level, right? Nobody likes to be ghosted, right? How does it feel when a client ghosts you?
I mean, I'm used to it, so I mean,
Is
it's
it
normal.
standard?
It's not normal for me.
It's normal.
Is normal or not
Yeah.
normal?
It's normal now.
It's normal.
It's
But
pretty
how do you
normal.
deal with that? Like, how do you deal with being ghosted?
You have
move
you
on.
have to move on.
Yeah, you
There's-
absolutely have
it's
to.
out
move
of your
on.
control. There's nothing you
Yeah.
can
There's
do.
nothing-
You can
Yeah.
even reach out. There's only so many times you can reach out to a person. I always tell Priscilla this all the time. Stop calling. They're not picking up.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
let it go
Just
and
let it
let's
be.
move on to the next. Because there is a reason why they're just not communicating what the issue is, or they
Yeah.
found something, or some people
Yeah.
just once they're over it, they stop.
But don't you
communicating.
find it's a very Ghanaian thing? They don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to
Yeah.
say, no, I don't want it.
Absolutely,
Or
it's definitely
yes,
a Ghanaian
it's-
thing.
it-
but
for
it
some
must be
Ghanaians, yeah.
frustrating.
It's
I think again, you get used to it.
yeah, you
don't
just get used to it. Like I mean,
Just
at
move
first it
on.
used to be really hurting.
Especially when they made you think you were
Oh, good,
almost
exactly,
there.
right?
Like,
But then
yeah.
again, like you said, it's about it's about filling the funnel as a salesperson. I mean, that's one of the sales principles you have to abide by if you're a salesperson. Just keep filling up that funnel.
Yeah.
Just keep having more people. So for me, I used to tell my team, look, it takes about like 100 person to close one deal, to sell one house. To sell one house, you need to speak to 100 people. You need to do
That's so true.
yeah. Sorry.
That's true.
Yeah, so you just have that in your mind. I mean, sometimes you do more than that, but if you just have that in your mind, when people say no or
Yeah.
ghost you or like, sorry, I can't do business with you
Just keep
anymore,
it moving.
just keep moving. Yeah, just keep filling up that funnel. Just keep, the more people it increases your
I'll be honest,
chance.
I don't think I can do what you guys do.
It's not for everybody.
It's
It's not.
thick-skinned people.
It's
Because
not
I
for
think
everybody.
I don't
Absolutely
handle
not.
rejection really well.
Yeah.
Nah.
And to be ghosted and not know why.
When your money is at stake, trust me, you get over it.
Yeah.
Because it's taking away time from me putting into someone else who is ready.
Yes.
Right,
Especially that.
So I have to. I can't. It used to be painful. I think it's like,
Yeah, it used to be.
What did I do wrong?
Mhm.
Why couldn't they just say? Why did they waste my time?
Yes.
Is there a point where you're like, okay, at this point I think I'm being ghosted? Like, is there 3 calls, 5 calls, 6 calls that you say, okay, that's my limit, I'm not calling anymore?
I don't think there's really. You just have to play it by ear. But for me, I will do a couple of phone calls and an email. If I get no response whatsoever, I let it go.
So it's just times. It's
You
just
haven't seen the missed calls. Not
You
even
haven't
a
seen the
text.
email?
There's so
Like,
many.
oh
in
my
2024,
goodness, like,
there's so many
come
modes of
on.
communication
Right.
that to have nothing, dead silence
Nice.
over a period of time.
What's the period of time for you? Is it a week? Is it a day? Is it
No,
2
I
It
think-
weeks?
depends on their
after a day.
circumstances.
Thank
as well,
you.
though. But it depends on their
Yeah, it
circumstances.
depends on the circumstances,
If
yes.
someone is living in a different time zone to you, who
Yes.
normally it's hard to get hold of them, but they always do get back
Yes.
to you after a couple of days, I will give that. It's just based on
Fair
circumstances.
enough.
But
Yeah.
if we've been speaking every single day and everything has been fine when you needed my help, and now all of a sudden you don't, and
Just
you're not
disappear.
answering, 2 days, 2 phone calls, I don't know,
Done.
text message, and then I'll take your silence as
As
you
a
no
move
longer
on.
want to move on.
I think
so
2
thank you very
days is
much.
even a lot for me.
It is.
Do you send them some sort of a message that, okay, or you also move on as well?
Yeah, you just move.
So for me, I don't really say move on. So what I do is to, like I said, I used to warm lead, hot lead, cold leads. For some people, you can just check in with them. Those maybe once in 2 months or once a month or something. And for some of those people, they just come back and say, hey, I'm sorry I didn't close this deal with you. Something happened, but this is another person, another friend of mine. Maybe no longer, maybe need a place to stay, like for rent. It's another way of
But
making.
after you've ghosted me for 6 months,
It's really hard.
I'm not sure how to receive that new
No,
phone call.
yes.
You needed my help.
For some people,
I'm not
for
being
some
honest.
people-
I'm,
state.
yeah, I'm
for
not
some people,
sure. I
so for
will.
some, I think it's different for every individual. It hurts, and sometimes people don't understand that we are human beings, and you just do it, and you just
communicate.
You just do it,
basically.
like you just move on. Like how would you move on? Like
Be okay
really?
with
And
it.
I see some of them. Like I just called one. Hello, how have you been? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not in the country at the moment. Oh, I literally just saw you now, and that's why I called. Like I just saw your car now, and that's why I called. Like I'm sorry. For some people like that, you just know that this guy is just playing
not
games.
gonna work out.
Just get rid of it. But I think the point where you just have to rule them off completely. I don't do that. I don't really do that. It's just that the times if I used to follow up maybe every 2 days or 1 week. I do like once a month or at least
Just
once
to keep
a
it
month.
lingering.
Just to keep, yeah. Hello.
But we're talking about we're talking about ghosting. So we're
Right.
not talking about someone who is not ready.
Yes.
Or someone who
Somebody
Yes.
just
someone who
you're
responds.
getting in touch with
exactly,
them.
That's
just
not what we're
ghosting.
talking. We're talking about this
Ghosting.
person
Just disappear.
sees your phone calls
Yes.
and does not respond.
Yes.
Sees your email.
Yeah.
Sometimes
and
even
doesn't
hangs up when you call.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
That is what we're talking about.
In your industry, is there something like the peak industry, like a peak time that business keeps flow, like cocoa season, like you
It
can
depends on the market. The market
Yeah.
determines
Really?
that, doesn't it? Yeah.
Best answer. Depends
There's
on
a
the
seller's
market.
market. There's a buyer's market.
What
there's-
determines that, or who determines that?
The market just does.
Yeah,
market
it's
does
just
I don't think
what it
we've.
yeah.
I don't think we've ever had
So-
like a seller's market really in Ghana. I don't think so.
I disagree. I mean, developers definitely have, a market where it's prime for people to purchase from them.
I mean, generally, but is that? Can we say?
What is
Is
a
it an
seller's
seller's
market? What is a
market?
buyer's market?
So
I know it's quite.
Where property is priced well for purchasing. So, like, the market just, I don't even know how
Yeah,
it
so
happens. It
a
just
seller's market
happens.
is just
A
technically
good time for sellers to sell their property.
Yes, and when
A
there are
buyer's
when there are
market-
shortage of homes, then
Yeah.
the buyers cannot get. There's so much demand but limited supply.
Say that again.
Absolutely.
When a seller's market is when there are not enough homes on the market,
Exactly,
but there are so many buyers.
exactly.
And a buyer's market is when
There's shortage, lots of demand, lots of supply,
Okay.
but limited buyers.
So I see why you're saying that in this market.
Yeah,
it's always
I
a
don't think
buyer's
we've ever had
market.
like a
It's
seller's
true.
market because
I see why you're saying that it's always a
Yeah,
buyer's market.
it's completely a buyer's market because now more than ever buyers have so much option to choose
Right.
They
from.
do.
Like
The
buying
market is actually saturated at the moment.
Really?
perfect, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
It makes your work more difficult or easier?
Well, that's the.
depends on who you're working with, right?
Yeah,
Depends on
it
the type
does.
of
It
of
does.
buyers you're working with.
Yeah, and also
Yeah.
developers.
And
as
developers
well.
you're working
No,
with.
because if there's so many options to choose from, wouldn't it make your job easier? Okay, I show you X, Y, Z. Pick your choice.
Not necessarily.
Yeah,
It doesn't-
'cause,
it doesn't
It
really
depends
make
on what the people are looking for. as
Exactly,
well.
yeah.
That is what determines.
Yeah, you just
that.
tailor them the search from what the things they demand, the details they give
Yeah.
you. I think it's really stressful, to be honest.
I'm gonna just ask this is a personal question for me because I've been looking for this, and since I have 3 realtors here, I'm gonna ask it.
All
I
right.
am looking for a loft.
Oh,
in Accra.
In Accra.
Is that does it exist?
A loft to buy.
A loft to buy, to rent, to live in, like a proper loft. A definition of a loft. Like in New York or London, a loft, proper
Yeah.
industrial looking. Is that such a thing?
Yes, there is. There is. I
Yeah.
mean,
At where?
Yeah.
it's like loft.
An actual loft.
I mean,
Okay, yeah.
you can't have like an actual loft.
That's what he wants.
Yes.
I mean, we can have like a sister like or something
so
close
like,
to
are
it.
there warehouses you can transform into that? Like, do they
Yeah.
exist?
Yeah,
Yes.
but they're in warehouses are in highly commercial areas. I don't think it would suit a residential need.
Yeah.
Yes, true.
Not here in a
Completely true. But then in Oyarifa as well.
Oh God! I don't want to hear about Ayarifa today.
I'm done.
I don't want to hear about Ayarifa.
Nobody wants to hear about
Very close to my house. Very
Right.
close to my
It
house.
exists?
Yes, there's a warehouse there, nicely built. Very close to where I live. I could see from where I live.
Is it by the mall?
No, it's not. Yes, it's close to the Oyarifa Mall, of course. Yes.
Do you know something? I think they should really. I think whoever the municipal assembly is should pay you money
100%.
for selling this.
I'm telling you, that warehouse is just in the middle of nowhere. You know, like the middle of like completely residential.
So please, he'll do inquiries for you.
Thank
on
you
your
very
behalf.
much. But okay, let me talk
Yeah.
about myths, right?
Yeah.
There are myths everywhere.
Yeah.
What are some of the myths that clients believe that makes your job very hard, but it doesn't exist? I mean, myths are not true, right? But what are some of the myths that clients come with, believing that, oh, this is gospel truth, that makes your job hard?
Homes are not selling.
Homes are not selling.
Yes.
Is that a myth?
Yeah, that's common. They say yes.
Because homes are selling.
So,
Homes are selling, bro.
so now they're coming to you with the misconception
Yeah,
that homes
homes
are
are
not
not
selling.
So
selling.
buyers, for example, they will come to you with so they'll put you in a position whereby, this is the price that I'm willing to offer.
Yes.
Because on a
Mhm.
normal day you can't
Yes.
sell that property
Oh.
because nobody's buying.
Yeah.
But that's a lie.
But they're buying.
Yeah, they're buying, bro.
If you don't buy,
Somebody will.
Who surely-
Somebody buys,
Yeah.
definitely.
So that is a myth that makes your job harder.
Yes. Some
Yeah.
sell it.
Any
It makes
other
them,
myths?
it makes
one
them
thing-
indecisive. Like, bro, you know this is the right home for you. This is the right price for you. But you don't want
They
to
don't
buy.
wanna close
They
because
just
they
don't want to
believe-
close because they think they can get it for far cheaper than
Exactly.
what they're asking for.
But don't you do that when you're buying stuff anyway?
For me,
Yeah.
so I think generally for myself, it depends on the value I'm getting. I've seen buyers who just come and like they've seen this property, right?
Whatever you tell them it is.
Bro, they're just
They're
like,
going for it.
okay. Even if they do negotiate, but not like that $50,000 gap.
But it's funny because that's why I'm always, when people come to me, how much should I price this property, Hannah? Or how much? I always tell them to mark it up ever so slightly because in Ghana, everybody's going to ask for a discount. Whether they need the discount or they don't. They can tell you that I've got $200,000 and you find them a property that is exactly $200,000. They'll ask you,
Can you
they want to pay
160? 160? Oh, you said 180. Bro, I think people say 160.
It doesn't matter. So if
goodness.
so the $200,000 property, I'll say put it on market for 210, 220.
But wait, let me ask you something. So there are realtors for the buyer and then also the seller.
You can do both.
You
as
can
an
do
agent
both.
if you
But
want
Wow.
to be
Is that
honest,
possible?
it's tough to do both.
It is tough.
Because
to do
whose
both.
side are you on
Completely.
then?
That's exactly the thing.
No,
like,
but
it's
you don't.
really
You don't
tough.
have to be. I think it's actually better because it's like winning on both sides. So in order for me to win with the owner or the developer, I have to get him a buyer. Now, of course, I want to, and that's the reason why you have to have like a threshold.
Yes.
So the owner wants this
Yes,
amount. So long as I
yes.
get him that amount that he wants, doesn't matter if I've negotiated on the other side. I've not put him out in any way, shape, or form. He's still getting his.
Yeah.
I always use 200K as an example, just because 200K. You know, of course, it would be great to be able to get him 250. However, I'm killing two birds with one stone here.
That's true.
And
That's
I'm getting
absolutely.
paid on both ends.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah, that's a
It
win-win.
becomes really, really.
So is it much you prefer where you're doing both as opposed to one or the other?
It's way better actually
I
to me.
prefer it.
I mean,
Because it's more money when you
more
close.
money, yeah.
it's more money,
you're
yes,
taking
but
here,
you know,
you're taking
like you said,
there.
like I said, if you're looking at it at some angle, then you're like, whose side are you on?
Yeah, like
Because
really,
you
who
wanna
are
get
you?
the
Who
best,
are
because-
you giving
Yeah,
the
because
best deal
It's
to?
both. It's both.
How can it be both?
Because the developer or the owner is, I am also working for them. It's in my interest to make sure that this.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm
Yes.
coming to you, Hannah, and
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what, Hannah? I have $200,000
Yeah.
to buy a home. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know very well that you can get me this house for $150,000.
You know,
But because you are also working for the seller, you also know the seller wants $200,000.
$200,000.
So at this point, who are you choosing?
How you gonna
to
do it?
satisfy?
I meet you halfway.
Which
I meet you in the middle. I meet in the middle.
You see how complicated
That's what
it
I'm
is?
doing. I'm going to meet in the
Yeah,
middle.
it's really
every time.
tough.
I'm going to meet in the middle every time so that the owner will still give me his other properties that he has, and the buyer will also recommend their friends because they still didn't have to pay the 200.
Yes.
They still, you know.
Yeah,
So,
I think
I mean-
meeting them halfway.
Yeah, I will
meeting them
always meet halfway.
Yes.
Best, yeah.
Then generally, it's just finding a way of
Yeah, I'll always
doing
meet
the best for
halfway.
each person. For example, what's the best the owner is willing to do? But I think it stems from who you are as the agent as well. If you're a good negotiator, then that conversation of negotiation doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
Really. If you're a good marketer, the point of marketing the property is not really a challenge for you. And to be honest, you don't really get those people all the time where you get to find yourself in that
situation like that, yeah.
You don't get that all the time, but as it comes, you have to be prepared. For me, we do what we call role playing. Like, I don't know if it's something English or Western to do,
know what a
but
role
here,
play is.
but we do that a lot. Like in such situation, what do you do? What conversations do you have? So those type of situations stems most of the time from negotiation. It's always during negotiation that you have to now want to, okay, I think this is what the owner's willing to do, and so I think this is my client just has this money. But I think is what works. To be honest,
sometimes you have
what
to play
sells?
a bit on the fence.
What sells? Like exactly, like what sells? What's the average for the area? For example, if I know the average for the area sells for 180, and my client, I know that even if I push my seller, he could sell maybe for 165, and that's what my client is asking for. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. That's where you have to now, I would maybe in the middle.
I'm going to ask you something, Hannah.
Oh.
Because I know that you have a plan for this. I want to buy. My mother comes with me. My mother is like, George, this one, dear. And the person that's with me, family or friend, is basically messing up the deal. How do you deal with that?
All the time.
How do you guys deal with that?
Normally the wife, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah. Do you know what? Again, it's all about knowing the product that you're selling. You have to just show, if you can demonstrate so many highlights of this purchase, there is no reason that person's argument can no longer hold weight. So you as George buying, if I have told you that, I expect in the next 3 years the property value to appreciate, it's a good area for families and you have a family, the school across the road is the best school. Once I have been able to demonstrate these things about the property, mum in the background, like, we love you, mum, but it's just not relevant anymore. Now she's just looking like an enemy of progress. Right. So you just have to
how do you deal with that? How do you deal with friends and family trying to derail the whole process?
Well, you can do much because it's actually out of your control.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do. If a client comes with someone and then you can see the client really wants this thing, but they come back and then they come and give you some flimsy excuses. You can tell someone is manipulating the decision.
Yeah.
So there's nothing you can actually do.
And sometimes,
no matter how hard you try to convince them.
I think I just send you stats, to be honest.
And exactly, the stats talk for themselves.
I don't talk too much.
When you're if it's happening on the viewing, sometimes it's just best to stay quiet and then meet the person you're actually buying with in person on their own. Once you've done that, then
you're good.
Like, you can't take money everywhere.
Hits the decision maker.
Yeah,
just hit it.
Exactly.
This one, I know you people deal with it on the regular. I know you deal with it on the regular. Commissions and being devalued.
Hi.
Contract always speaks for itself. I don't really like entering any type of or selling for anybody without an agreement in place, because a lot of people will go back on their word.
So how you deal with it by contracts?
Yeah,
one way.
An agency agreement in advance.
That's the best.
Once it's written down and we've both signed, I don't care whether you've reduced it or not. That's not what we agreed.
So when they refused it, what do you do with the contract? Do you take it to the
like
police
at that point,
or what?
To be honest, because and that's another thing. I'm always very careful who I work with as well.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's a good thing. Exactly. Who you work with. Exactly.
They bring the
yes.
I can
exactly.
already tell where this
So
is
you
going.
two, you do your check. You check. Like he was checking, you two, you check.
Yeah, we do. We have to check.
But this
Like
is
who
the
they are.
Is
It's
also
money we're talking
selling,
about. This is your livelihood.
You have to just and be discerning in that area.
Yes.
Right.
Otherwise, they're going to mess you up.
Right. But does it happen a lot, being devalued?
It does. It
I
does.
don't even think it's an issue of devaluing. I think it's some people will try and and not honor what they said.
Right.
And some people, when they've looked at the figures, then they, it didn't work out the way they wanted.
Yes.
So I don't think it's about them devaluing you or your services, but more just about, Charlie, I don't know if this is going to work out financially for them, but that's not my problem.
Right.
And for the ones who come up front and say, I think that there are some developers who come up front and say,
we could have negotiated in the beginning. It doesn't have to be the standard.
Thank you. Hey, man, look, I know this thing, I know we agreed on this, but per what we've done right now, it doesn't look like we're making any financial money. See what we're making out of this. If you could maybe we could give you 5% less than what we agreed. Of course, I mean,
You can always
we can always, but the point where you're like, nah, bro, I can't give you. I'm sorry, I can't, with no reason. I mean, that doesn't really happen all the time. Another way to just completely avoid that is to just do what she said. Just choose who you work with and know who you work with. For me, I just position myself to working with some developers I really know has history of paying good commissions. Another thing I do, which works for me a lot, is I don't like to talk too much, really. And that's one of the reasons why I don't really go for open houses or go for property launch or listing everywhere. I usually want to have the buyers first. So there are occasions where I have a buyer who's willing to buy properties, and I'm going to ask maybe 4 or 5 different developers, how much commission are you willing to pay me? I have this person willing to buy.
That was my next question, actually. Somebody, like for the public, right, that are trying to now get into purchasing for investment or for themselves, what should they expect dealing with a realtor? Roughly, what is the fee like, and what's the process? So they come to you, and what are they supposed to expect generally?
Well, actually, you have some rules laid down when the client comes if they want a property to buy or to rent. You've got your rules laid down.
Don't call me at 1 a.m.
Yeah. Well, that's not inclusive though. But after they read through, or you let them know this is what I work with, it means you are trying to give them a guideline as to this is how I operate. So if you can, then we are good to go. If not, then I think you can go to John under the tree and work with John.
John under the tree at bread.
Yeah.
Really
With them, anything goes.
Yeah.
They can even take you round. That's what they usually do. They will take you round. They know exactly what you want, but they will take you everywhere. And then the last minute, they show you what you want.
Is it common practice that I'm looking for a space? You agree to show me the space. When I get there, you tell me, oh, before I show it to you, you have to pay me so much money.
I've seen a lot of one-man
like a
bands
viewing
doing
fee or
that.
something?
Yeah, a lot of the
Is that standard?
a lot of the one-man bands who are on there, like
the viewing fee thing, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
The viewing fee. Oh.
yeah. We don't charge that.
Yeah, it depends on who you are.
Yeah, I think it depends. I think it's usually on the rental side, but working with a small scale developers. Sorry,
they don't want people wasting their time.
Right.
So once you come and they're taking you around,
but I don't think it's very professional.
No.
I don't think it makes sense at all.
Okay, so I'm trying to get into the game, real estate game. I'm trying to be a realtor. Advise me.
Well done. Brace up.
First thing first, you need to be patient.
Patient.
Yes.
Okay.
You need to have a thick skin. Yes, because you hear a lot of things, good and bad, mostly bad. Oh, agents, this, that, and it will actually break you down. You won't get anywhere. So first thing, you need to have a strong heart, strong mind, thick skin. You need to be patient.
No crying.
Oh, no, you can't cry.
Because if you ghost me, I'll cry.
It's normal.
Right.
When you
Crying
get
is
to
normal
it,
anyway.
No, not the crying. I mean, ghosting. The ghosting is normal. Because there are things you can't control.
Rolex, do you cry?
Me?
No.
Yeah.
I only cried once. I mean,
Wait, somebody made you cry?
not someone. I mean, it was a deal. I thought that deal was gonna work, and I really, I needed that deal so I could bury my mom.
Oh.
And I needed that thing to close. And I tried everything. Like, my mom had just passed away suddenly, like just 3 days, and she just passed. She was well today, and the next 3 days she was gone. And it was between a moment I had just done my investments in the business, and now I was this. And I'm the first child. I lost my dad earlier, so I need money to just get things going. And it was just the day I thought was going to be my breakthrough.
And you're like,
I was like, okay, this was going to work in my favor, but along the line, they just like ghosted.
Oh,
just,
my God. See, I'll cry. I'll cry. Have you cried?
No, I was like, not now. You know, like
The
fine,
timing.
but not now.
The
like
timing
not
wasn't
now.
good.
It was
Bad time.
Yeah,
I think anybody was just
Yeah,
really
I mean, it
down.
was really bad. The timing was just bad. I think that's been the moment. Yeah, and the moment I was crying the day I told you about the land deal.
The 10 million.
No, the land. The first, my second year, mid second year, when after I started real estate.
Right.
The deal that
Oh, you were crying in happiness.
Oh,
though.
and happiness.
I was crying actually. I was about to give
Oh, you were
up.
down. Okay. Right,
I was literally
right.
crying, like I was just crying. God, I can't do
And
this.
the person just came through.
And the agent called me on the phone, bro. Said, what's going on? I was like, nothing's going on, bro. Well, you better cheer up. There's something that's gonna happen now. We just closed the deal for the land purchase. Like, oh my God.
So he set you up.
Yeah, so it became the tears of joy. Later. So I think it's just twice I've cried, bro.
Are you crying now?
That's what I was saying.
Are those tears I see?
Yeah. No, I mean it's whether we like it or not, it hurts. It
Right.
stings.
Right.
It's not
it does.
an easy
You know, I
thing.
always say, I'm saying in tree, sikapedi.
Yeah.
Do you know what that
Yes.
means?
Looking for money is hard.
I'm
Yes,
telling you.
it's-
So obviously it can't be easy.
It's not easy.
can't
It's
be
not
easy.
easy. And anyone who's coming to do this, you need to realize that it's not just it's not easy.
For
Any advice for me?
My advice would be, let your word be your word.
Mm.
If you say it's this, let it be this. If you say it's that, let it be. That is what you'll go far if you can do that. So try and always be credible. You know, be honest and transparent.
Right.
Mm.
Don't be afraid to break bad news. It happens. If you
Yeah.
run from it, it will still be there and it will cause a bigger situation. So just be upfront and do your best to rectify the situation.
Well, thank you guys. It's been riveting today with these amazing realtors. Once again, just let us know who you are and where people can reach you. If
Could I say something before we
Sure,
round
go
up?
ahead.
I think we make this mistake a lot. We got served, sometime by the National Association of Realtors. They said the word realtor it's not an English term.
Is it not?
It's an
It
abbreviation.
shows it's a term for anyone who is a member of the National Association of Realtors.
So what is
Real estate broker or real estate agent?
What do you prefer to go by?
Real estate consultant.
What about you?
Property consultant.
And you?
I'm a real estate broker.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
So on that note, let us know, Mr. Real Estate Broker, where we can find you.
Okay. Blavior.com. BLAVIOR.com.
Okay.
Or nanasapon@blavior.com.
OptimumPropertyGH.com. All of our contact details can be found there.
zhomes.com and every other details you need, you can find it there.
Thank you so much from the home front.
Thank
Deuces.
you.
Thanks.